Saturday to you, and of course a cold and wet Saturday across the Piedmont, no doubt about that. And of course, we're breaking into a couple of these special cut-ins this morning because we did have, and still do have, at least the chance for some light freezing rain across parts of our area. Now the Triad specifically, I think we're pretty much out of at least that worry early this morning. Foothills may be a different story. Let's start you out looking across the Piedmont this morning. Yeah, it's a dreary Saturday morning. It's a cold Saturday morning, but focusing specifically on what the temperatures are here. We're at 35 in Greensboro, 35 in Winston-Salem, 35 in Burlington. So just above freezing, meaning everything that's falling this morning, at least in these parts of the Triad, is all regular cold rain. Now, if we put a time lapse of our radar in motion for you over the last couple of hours, notice what's happening. As our rain moves in, our temperatures were already in the mid-30s in the immediate Triad, especially to our south and east, where temperatures were even in the upper 30s, even near 40 over toward Raleigh and Durham. So all of this has just been cold rain for the immediate Triad and points to the south and east. A little bit of a different story up over the North Carolina-Virginia border and up over the foothills as well. And you'll notice that because temperatures are at freezing, right at 32, a couple of spots. There are a lot of towns, a lot of communities that don't get plotted on the map just because the numbers are so big it wouldn't work out. So there are some folks that are likely in the low 30s this morning, like 31, 30, even a few folks up over the Virginia border in the upper 20s. And for that reason, 32 or below, that's where you're seeing that pink shading where some of that rain could be falling as freezing rain. That means it's regular rain, but when it hits the ground, if it's freezing, then it freezes over and starts to create that glaze on some of those elevated surfaces. But watch, over time, as we've gone throughout the morning, the last couple of hours, you've seen less and less and less of that pink shading, meaning everybody's starting to warm up above freezing. And I really think our freeze concern, or freezing rain concern, is going away. The later it gets, the better off that we are. Meanwhile, we still have a lot of rain to go over the next couple of hours. You'll notice even a few pockets of heavy rain just to our south. That's eventually moving into Montgomery County up toward the Raleigh-Durham area. Even some heavy pockets of rain now in Randolph County, even in Guilford County as well. So we're going to be left with cold rain for the rest of at least for the good portion of the morning into the early afternoon. So here's where we're sitting temperature-wise. We're in good shape, at least across the immediate Triad. Points to the south. We're at 36 in Asheboro, 37 in Siler City. Good morning to you there. 35 in Burlington, 35 Greensboro and Winston-Salem. Right at the freezing mark, starting to come above that along the Virginia border and up over the foothills. We're in the 20s in the mountains this morning. So if we put this in motion for you, Futurecast in motion over time, take a look at the timestamp here. As we get into 9 and 10 o'clock, it's cold rain for everybody as we warm up above freezing, at least through lunchtime. This system is a quick mover, though. It's in and out of here. Our rain is likely shutting off by 2:30, 3 o'clock, I think at the latest about 4 o'clock this afternoon as we start to dry things out. And if you're looking for some snow, it's not going to be here, but it will end as some snow for our folks up in the North Carolina mountains. So the skiers and snowboarders, ski slopes, they'll be loving this for tonight. Initially, earlier in the week and up to yesterday, this was the map that we were showing you about possible ice. And I did leave at least the chance for a little bit of light icing or a light glaze across parts of the Triad. But again, that's a bit more likely up over the foothills. They're the folks that are having the longest opportunity to have some of that freezing rain. So I would say elevated surfaces, slick spots would be railings, steps, that kind of thing. Maybe even a few bridges with a few slick spots. But it's cold rain for everybody by the middle of the day, and then we'll dry it out as we get into the afternoon. So keep that in mind. Also, I've had a lot of questions about the potential for black ice tonight. I don't foresee that being a widespread issue simply because we're going to end our rain so early. We'll have a really good opportunity to dry things out. Even though temperatures will be down around freezing, most of that should dry up. A couple lingering spots may freeze for a few very isolated black ice concerns early on Sunday morning. Systems out of here, high pressure building in. That'll get us back to some sunshine tomorrow for Sunday, but it will be breezy and it will be chilly. And then honestly, I think we need to turn our attention to Tuesday. That looks like it'll be a bigger deal for the Piedmont Triad. Big strong storm system on the way with a lot of rain and a lot of wind. At this point early, I think around 2 inches of rain would be possible for our area, along with gusty winds 30 to 40 miles per hour. Also, as we go into Tuesday evening, I think we really need to be keeping an eye on a potential for a storm risk and some potential flooding concerns as well. You'll notice the Storm Prediction Center has already highlighted part of our area, at least to our south and east, and a medium risk for severe weather on Tuesday. Now, our part of the Piedmont, our Triad area, could be included in that. I think the ingredients are there where we could potentially have some stronger severe storms. Right now, the better chance would be to our south and to our east, but we'll keep you posted. Also, I want to let you know, this was never going to be a snow event for us in the Triad.
No matter what you thought, right?
No matter what you thought, no matter what hype weather you were seeing on the internet, it's not going to be a snow event for us. And at this point, we're 707 days without measurable snow.
Wow, wow, wow. I can't believe it has been that long.
It's been
But
a while.
I mean, it is one of those things. I think whenever the meteorologists say winter weather, everybody thinks maybe winter wonderland, because I know I was at the food line in Reedsville a few days ago on Thursday, and the guy said, oh, well, there's going to be snow. I'm like,
No.
Looked later on the forecast, Julie Luck goes 0 chance for snow. So sorry. I mean, even you mentioned it, like when you just did your Facebook Live, somebody said, where is the snow? So it's to the west, if
Not
anything.
here.
And just as a result of all of this, lots of our organizations in our area, they like to do things out of precaution, better safe than sorry kind of thing. So as a result of the forecast for today, we have RCC and ACC, Rockingham Community College, Alamance Community College, that are opening a little later today. RCC is opening at 11 and ACC is opening 2 hours late. In addition to that, some YMCAs, Haynes Taylor's open at 10 a.m. and then Leon's Beauty School is opening 2 hours late too. Again, just out of precaution, really. Right now we're just seeing rain for most parts of the Triad.
Right. I know a lot of these community colleges and folks like that have early programs on Saturday. Maybe some of those areas, local high schools even have sporting events. A lot of that, again, like you said, is really a more safe than, better safe than sorry approach. I think the same kind of thing, if you were riding around the Triad yesterday, not just in Greensboro, in Asheboro, I saw some roads all over the area were crews treating roads. And I think a lot of that and seeing that had people thinking or questioning maybe if the forecast had changed. And again, same kind of thing. I think that was a better safe than sorry kind of approach. Hey, let's get on this early just in case something were to shift. But again, like you said, most of that's just delays, not closings this morning. I'm going to let you go back over that one more time just so folks know. It's not a lot, but there are a few folks that are saying, hey, we're going to delay stuff at least until we know that everybody's above freezing.
And just in addition to that, you mentioned Guilford County Schools and then Rockingham County Schools. Let's see who else on here. They were saying, like, just because of Saturday, they do have those sporting events. So those are going to be delayed as well. So if, you thought maybe you had a basketball game this morning or a practice or whatever, go ahead and double check with the school system. Usually they're really good about posting on Facebook. If you didn't get a call last night, I know when we were younger, we got the phone calls, right? So you can go ahead and look on there as well. And then also just the brining situation, Christian, like, I woke up this morning, 2 a.m., you can see a faint white line on the roadway. We've got counties, Guilford, Alamance, Rockingham, Caswell. Lots of people just out of precaution. Crews did brine the roads last night. And once again, just out of precaution, we're not really seeing any of those what we would need the brining for. But yeah, just to go back over that again, guys, that's RCC, Rockingham Community College, Alamance Community Colleges opening later today, Leon's Beauty School opening later today, and then I know that I had looked last night and some restaurants were also opening a little later today as well. So if you're gonna go out to eat or do something, might just be a good idea to double check on Facebook, give them a phone call just to see if they are, starting a little bit later today because of the weather.
Perfect. Thanks, Hannah. Yeah, so I'll go back over this one more time and then we'll let you get on about your Saturday. The bottom line here, the deal today is that this is really not a big deal, right? I've been looking for some reports. If you're in up along the North Carolina-Virginia border, if you're in the foothills and you have some freezing rain or you've noticed a little bit of an icy glaze on maybe flower pots outside, maybe railings or stairs, that kind of thing, let me know. At this point, I'm not seeing too many reports of that, and it would make sense. You'll notice as we go through in time here, things are really starting to warm up above freezing, and at this point, it's mostly just going to be a cold rain for the rest of the middle of the day. After lunchtime, our rain will start to taper off. There's a look at that all-important 7-day forecast. Of course, we're in a very active weather pattern now where we're sort of dry for a couple of days and then we have a new system to track every 3 to 5 days. So this is the second one for the week. You might remember the one that gave us some clouds in the middle of the week. Now here's the second one. This moves out. We're dry for Sunday and Monday. Then we have another one on the way, and that's the Tuesday system we're talking about. I would go ahead and circle Tuesday in your mind on the calendar as the day to watch. I think that is a more impactful system probably than this on Tuesday. So we have a lot of rain on the way, possibly up to 2 inches or more, gusty winds 30 to 40 miles per hour. And then of course, I would foresee a flooding risk on Tuesday and potentially a severe storm risk with a damaging wind concern, possibly even a low tornado concern for Tuesday. So we'll keep you posted on that. We're dry Wednesday, Thursday next week, and then another rain chance by the end of next week on Friday. So a lot to talk about, just a cold and wet day across the Piedmont. Good day to stay inside. Soup, chili, movie kind of day.
Go ahead and make you some soup. I know I want some. Be sure to share with us if you do.
All right, guys, thanks so much for joining us. We'll be back at 9 o'clock for another check-in this morning on WFMY+. Thanks for tuning in.
Stay dry.